Hi, my name is William Schaeffer, and our book review today is The Cheyenne, from Case Studies in Cultural Anthropology by Holt, Rinehart, and Winston. This whole series of books is very good. And as you can see, there's probably 30 different case studies in anthropology. One of the most famous is the Yanomamo by Napoleon Chagan. And there is also, just some of them, the Yoruba of southwestern Nigeria, the Eskimo of North Alaska, the Two Worlds of the Washoe, the Pueblo Indians of North America, Fiddler on the Roof, and it goes on through many of the traditional societies around the world. And I found it very interesting. Now, the Cheyenne, this was a culture in transition, and originally was a matrilineal agricultural people in Minnesota. But this book details about 1840 to 1860 and some of the events and how their society was organized. Initially, North America had no horses, and it was only after the Spanish came to Mexico and horses escaped that Indians in North America, or Native Americans in North America, were able to get the horse, and this transformed the culture. And the Great Plains, which formerly were not very hospitable, it was possible to live as a nomadic people using the horse. And this book details that culture, which was a culture that was pretty much at constant war, and we're familiar with a lot of it. Now, it's a very interesting book for a lot of reasons. It details the mindset of the people, and the mindset that's a little bit different. And one thing I really found interesting was a mechanistic view of the universe, and that what was important was not what you said, but what you did, your behavior. And the important things in life were demonstrated not by a pledge, a verbal pledge, but by a specific behavior. Another interesting thing, this book talks about the sun dance and some of the rituals throughout the year and the typical yearly cycle and some of the historical wars and battles the group was involved in. The Cheyenne were known as some of the most fierce fighters of the Great Plains Indians. And they have a very austere and regulated society, but the warfare was more for personal glory than a kind of strategic objective of taking land like the armies of the Civil War or World War I and II engaged in. Another interesting thing, it talks about the Society of the Contraries, which you may be familiar with. And another interesting thing is the medicine people were mostly transvestites, and they ran a lot of the ceremonial dances and were considered to have a lot of strong medicine and healing powers. And that was a regular function in their society. And finally, some of the summary of the worldview I found interesting. Postulate 1. The world is fundamentally a mechanical system with a limited energy quotient, which progressively diminishes as it is expended. Postulate 2. The energy quotient of the world is rechargeable through compulsive mimetic acts of sympathetic ritual. Ritual officiants must learn the exact formulas of world renewal from knowledgeable experts. And acts are more effective than words. So a pledge was not very effective. The act was effective. Postulate 3. Man is subordinate to supernatural forces and spirit beings. These forces and beings have superior knowledge concerning the operation of the universe and are benevolently inclined toward man. So it goes on and on and on, describing the society, but that major feature about it's a mechanical universe and that the important thing is what you do, I found interesting. The whole series of case studies in cultural anthropology by Holt, Rinehart, and Winston, published around 1960, is fantastic. And I highly recommend it. You can find it in your used bookstore inexpensively, and the information is still good. It's anthropological field data, highly reliable and scholarly. Thank you, and leave your comments below.